Welcome back to Navigating Chronic Illness with Heart and Hope. I'm Valerie Alawiye, and I'm so glad that you're here today. I want to use this episode to pause and honor something really important: the grief that comes with career change or loss due to chronic illness. This is not just about missing work or income. It's about missing the version of yourself who could do more and who once believed that they could. It's grieving the role you loved, a title you earned, or a path that you were proud of. It's also about missing that daily rhythm of contributing, the identity of being the go-to person, or even the social connection that came with being part of a team. Maybe there are mornings you wake up and wonder, what happened to the person I used to be? Maybe you're still showing up for work, but it costs you more than anyone realizes. Or maybe you had to step away entirely, and now you're left wondering where you fit in to a world that used to feel so certain, but now feels unfamiliar or out of reach. This grief that comes from career change or loss due to chronic illness is valid, and it deserves compassion. You may not have had the space to mourn this loss. Often the world moves on so quickly, but inside you may still be carrying the ache, the longing for the career you imagined, or the stability you once had. That ache, that grief, is a reflection of everything you've poured into your work, your time, your energy, your dreams. It's not something to be pushed aside or minimized. If this is where you find yourself right now, grieving that version of your career or your life that illness has changed, please realize this. You are not being dramatic. You are not overreacting. You are experiencing a real and deeply personal loss, and it is okay to feel it. So if today you need to cry or be quiet or name what you've lost, please allow yourself to do so. You do not have to rush to reframe it or appear like everything is okay or that you have it all figured out. And here is something tender but true. You are allowed to miss what was, even as you imagine what could be. Grief and hope are not opposites. They can sit side by side. And here is something I also want you to hear. Grief is not proof of weakness. It is proof that what you had and what you want still matters deeply to you. It is part of the process of making room for a new version of success that may be slower or a different rhythm, but one that is no less meaningful. You can carry grief and still grow. You can feel loss and still hold on to your worth. Allow that to be part of your story that you tell yourself, not one of failure, but of transition, resilience, and strength. Living with chronic illness often reshapes how we show up in our work, our creativity, and even our sense of purpose. If chronic illness has disrupted a career we loved or a path we've worked hard to build, it doesn't always mean that our careers are over, but the impact is real. You might feel you're no longer qualified, like you've lost your edge, or you're constantly trying to prove you still have value. The pace you used to keep may not be possible anymore. The roles you held might look different now. And with those shifts can come an unwelcome companion: imposter syndrome. Today, I want to talk about how to quiet that inner voice that says you are not enough, to rebuild your confidence, and to see your value with honesty, strategy, and grace, not in spite of your illness, but because of the resilience you bring to the table. Imposter syndrome shows up in whispers. I'm not as capable as I used to be. I can't keep up like everyone else. I don't deserve this opportunity anymore. These thoughts can creep in when illness forces us to change how we work or when we take longer paths to achieve the same goals. But here's what I want you to remember. Your value is not tied to speed, titles, or traditional markers of success. Your lived experiences, your adaptability, and your problem solving, these are strengths that many people struggle to or may never develop, but are qualities and characteristics you have earned and gained by navigating life with chronic illness. And here is something we don't talk about enough: the isolation that comes with chronic illness. Not just the physical limitations, but the emotional and relational fallout. When you're living with daily fatigue or persistent pain, sometimes just getting through the day can feel like a full-time job. You may cancel plans, not because you don't care, but because your body won't cooperate. Over time, friendships can fade, relationships may become strained, and sometimes people you thought would understand don't. Coworkers may misinterpret your absences or accommodations as special treatment. Family members may question why you seem fine one day but not the next. And because many symptoms are invisible, others assume that you're exaggerating, avoiding, or not trying hard enough. These misunderstandings can be devastating. You may start to feel like you no longer belong, not in social circles, not in professional spaces, not even in conversations about success or ambition. You may find yourself left out of meetings, skipped over for projects, or uninvited from social gatherings because others assume you can't keep up. On top of everything else, there is the judgment, the stigma, the subtle but painful suggestion that you're not pulling your weight, that you are difficult, that you are no longer a good fit. These messages, spoken or unspoken, can echo loudly in the quiet of isolation, and they can feed the voice of the imposter syndrome, making you question whether you still belong at the table. But I want to say this clearly. Your value is not determined by your visibility. Your worth is not diminished because others don't understand what you're carrying. You are navigating real challenges with courage, wisdom, and strength. And even if your circle has grown smaller or your voice feels harder to raise, you still have something meaningful and valuable to offer. You do not have to prove your worth to belong. You already do. And if imposter syndrome is showing up, it's not because you're inadequate. It's because you care. It's because you have high standards and you want to contribute and you want to be seen for who you are. Being capable is not about doing it all. It's about what matters with heart and wisdom. Chronic illness often teaches us how to prioritize what's truly important, how to think clearly about solutions, and how to build boundaries that protect our energy and our focus. You might not have had the same energy or capacity you once did, but that doesn't erase your talent, your intelligence, or your potential. It simply means your career journey looks different, and different can be just as valuable. So, how do you start to quiet imposter syndrome and rebuild your confidence when you feel disconnected from who you used to be? Here are a few strategies that have helped me and others. Track impact, not output. Start a folder of feedback, including emails, notes, and moments when someone said you made a difference. Return to it when doubt starts to creep in. Speak your truth aloud. Say out loud, I am still valuable even if I work differently now. The more often you say it, the more real it becomes. Redefine success. Maybe success for you is different than what you used to want. Maybe it's being able to do meaningful work and take care of your health at the same time. That's not failure, that's wisdom. Curate your circle. Surround yourself with people who see you clearly, not just for what you do, but for who you are. Name your strengths today. What are you still good at? What has grown stronger since illness? Identify it, document it, and claim it. Speaking of document your wins. Keep a running done list of accomplishments, even small ones. Seeing your progress written down can silence the voice that says you are not doing enough. For more tips on tracking and celebrating small wins, be sure to watch episode 7 of this series, The Power of Small Wins, Celebrating Progress in the Face of Chronic Illness. Own your story. Instead of hiding the impact of chronic illness, frame it as a strength. For example, you could say, I've learned resilience and resourcefulness that make me better at navigating challenges. Talk back to the imposter. When that voice says, you can't do this, respond with, I have overcome harder things and I am still here. Celebrate adaptation. Give yourself credit for the ways that you have adapted. Flexibility is a skill. It's leadership in action. Imposter syndrome thrives on comparison and self-judgment, but your journey is uniquely yours, with lessons, resilience, and wisdom that make you deeply capable. So if you're rebuilding your career or redefining your role, please know this. Your journey hasn't ended. It's just unfolding differently. It's being reshaped, and within that reshaping lies your strength, your voice, and your value. You are someone who's adapting, someone who is still showing up, and someone who still has value. The world may not always reflect back to you, but I hope this space does. To support you, here are 2 free resources for combating imposter syndrome. First is Flip the Script. Turn imposter thoughts into empowering truths. Located at https://coaching-for-chronic-illness.kit.com/flip-the-script. And second, Affirmations to Silence the Imposter Voice, located at https://coaching-for-chronic-illness.kit.com/affirmations-to-silence-imposter-voice. You can download one of these free items that most resonates with you, or download them both. Thank you so much for being here today. Please meet me back here next time for another episode of Navigating Chronic Illness with Heart and Hope. Until then, remember that you are not behind. You are not less than. You belong, and you are still becoming beautifully, powerfully, in your own time. Want to learn more? Subscribe to my newsletter for ongoing reflections, free tools, and notification of new episodes of Navigating Chronic Illness with Heart and Hope with Valerie Alawier, my video series on grief, illness, and gentle healing. Or visit us on our website at coachingforchronicillness.com to explore options to receive more support.